Oh, or should we do 30? I think that's 40 seconds per trial, but each duration is 10 to 30 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Should we
so
just...
you need 20 seconds.
Yeah,
Is that what
20.
you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay,
Let's do 20. That makes more sense.
I was going to say, that's a very long data set.
Yeah.
And so why don't we ever want to go more than about 10 minutes of data collection per human?
We could get tired and
Yeah.
maybe things would change.
Anyone been on a Zoom meeting for more than 10 minutes and totally stop paying attention?
Yeah.
Yeah, our attention spans are actually only 10 minutes long. So let's not make our subject fall asleep.
That makes sense. She needs to concentrate on alpha rhythms.
Yes, right?
So duration, should I keep it 20?
Yeah, 20.
Sounds good. Nice and long, but not too long that you fall asleep when your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
Because then you'll never open your eyes for the next trial.
Okay, so I think I'm ready. Let me just note down our new changes.
Yep. Put what our settings are, our durations, anything you observe, right? So maybe you want to make some observations on the signals. What do they look like?
When I blink, it records it.
Yeah, we see those.
Right. So
Deviations.
that's deflection in voltage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because your eyes roll back to the head when you blink.
Yeah.
Those top three, the third one looks really fuzzy.
Mm-hmm.
First two look really fuzzy. The last one doesn't look too fuzzy, so that's good. But we might want to mark that down so we know. All right.
10 trials, 20 seconds each. And signal.
1 and 2 look the same. 3 looks poor. 4 looks good. And when I say good, fuzzy versus not fuzzy.
All right. Restart.
Okay. All right, let's save the data again as a MATLAB file.
I think I wrote my name last time. I think this creates a folder.
Great. So the experiment stopped, and now we're saving the data. So that's better, right?
Yeah, definitely saw some activity going on.
Okay. I think we can do better.
Yeah.
And I think we can play with some of this stuff, see what really happens without the key. Okay. So we have both files. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to try to do a better job. So let's get some gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to try to get rid of as much noise as possible. So what we're going to do is called reducing the impedance, right? This is the relative resistance at a specific frequency, right? So, your data saved? Good. Okay. So I'm going to show you first on one channel, and then I'll have you do the others.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to do some signal quality checks to really make sure that our signals look really good by the time we actually start our data collection. Okay. That, make sure we never use it. Okay. So I'm going to do channel C3 here, over here. And one thing that's nice is maybe you can start recording just so they can see what's going on, what happens as we're starting to reduce these impedances. Okay, so the first thing you're going to see on the screen is that it's going to go crazy. It's going to go over voltage because this is metal, and I'm putting it next to metal, right? And so what I'm doing here is I'm rocking back and forth in a star pattern and asking for feedback. How does that feel? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Too hard or too soft?
No, that's correct.
Correct? Okay, great. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a circular pattern and a star pattern. Basically, I'm just pushing her dead skin cells, no offense, everyone has them, and your hair aside. And I'm trying to get as much electrode to actual skin contact as possible with the gel. So sometimes you have to add a tiny bit more because we kind of take it out a little bit when we're rocking back and forth, right? It squirts out. And then the last thing I do is I tap it. Because if you can see here, it's a perfect example, there's a little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
That bubble will pop while she's recording the experiment. And what that's going to cause on here is an over voltage. So you see all those bubbles? Let's pop all those bubbles out. Make sure we're still overflowing. And then again, go back in and do a bit of impedance reduction. How does that feel? Good?
Yeah.
And by good, I mean I'm not stabbing you. Great. So now that we did that, and again, I'm just popping the bubbles. This one happens to have a lot of bubbles. There we go. Now we can check. So this one is channel C3. Channel C3 on here is 1, 2, 3, 4. O1, O2, C3, C4. So we want to look at the third channel. Now it still looks pretty fuzzy, huh? So keep going in. We can double check. Yep, that's the one going over voltage. Now when I say fuzzy, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a higher frequency noise that is not typical of EEG, but more typical of just electrical noise or physical noise such as these bubbles, right? So this one's kind of a hard channel, huh? I picked the hardest one. Is that okay?
Yeah, maybe maybe do we want to move on to something else? Another channel then come
Yeah,
back?
we'll come back and let this one settle. I'm just doing a little bit more. All right. Again, this one had a lot of bubbles and was very fuzzy, so. Okay, all right. So we'll go back and we'll do the other ones, and then we'll see if that one settles down. It happens to be the noisiest channel, though.
Mm-hmm.
So O1 and O2 are good ones to start with,
Okay.
and that's because they're over the occipital lobe, which is where our visual cortex is. And so if we're measuring eyes open versus eyes closed, we want to see.
Does that feel
the portion
okay?
of the
Am I
brain
touching your
that's associated
scalp?
with that.
No,
Oh, there you go.
Good.
That's all. Okay.
which one are you doing?
This is O2.
Should be the second channel.
Yeah.
Now you let us know if it's too soft, because sometimes when you have very thick hair,
Yeah.
we don't know that it's too soft.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So constant feedback saying you can go a little harder.
I
or
think you can do a
Little harder? Okay. Oh,
I
yeah.
had a feeling that I was being a little soft on you, and I started stabbing you at the end of it.
I think that's good.
There we go.
That's
'Cause
good?
now I'm really starting to see it. Before we weren't seeing a lot of
Yeah.
over voltage,
Uh-huh.
which told me you weren't really kind of getting in there.
I think this
That looks
one is
better.
Looking better?
Yeah. So see how now this isn't as fuzzy?
Mm-hmm.
See how it
Oh,
looks more like a clean straight line?
yeah.
That means you reduce the impedance, so we're getting rid of that higher frequency noise.
So
Mhm.
it does come to, but then it's not showing that well. So should I, if I auto scale it
Auto
again?
scale again. It's too zoomed out. That looks
Yeah.
better. So you see
There you
how
go, my
you can
blink.
see an eye blank. You can see these little rhythms, these little synchronous rhythms are kind of changing over time. That's what we want to see.
Cool.
And then we'll show you, once we get all the impedances reduced, we'll show you what it looks like when we blink, when we close our eyes, when we sit still, when we sway around, when I'm obnoxious and I stomp behind you.
Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This one is O1.
So you should see the top
Yep.
channel now going over voltage.
Yep.
Is it looking better?
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
And then again, because we autoscope, we just have to wait till we are no longer over voltaged. You have to wait again. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Will auto scale bring it down?
It will. It'll
Okay.
center it.
Okay, great.
So auto scale, all that does is a process of normalization, right?
Yep.
So it just brings your voltage down to 0 and then normalizes it to the max and min of whatever the signal is.
Okay. Let's,
Um, shift my hair a little so that, I think it's because my hair is really thick.
It is.
uh-huh.
I have the same problem, so that's why. I was like, I bet you were not being evil enough on you.
Uh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we want to do O2. We might have to do again a little bit.
Okay.
And then C3 and C4,
C4.
we haven't done yet. Well, we did C3, but again, we want to be a little rough.
O2 again, right?
Yeah.
This one is
Yeah,
O2.
It's just because
Yeah.
I think she moved it a little bit when she moved her hair, so you might have to put a little more gel in or.
Yeah.
Feel okay?
Yeah, that feels okay.
Am I at your scalp?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, now you're at my scalp.
Okay. Yeah. Pushing a little harder now.
I think it should be fine.
It looks
Take
better?
off. That's it.
Okay. Let me
Yeah,
add more, a little
that's
more
good.
gel.
Try. Perfect.
Okay.
And so you can see just immediately, right? There's just such a huge difference. Right
Yeah.
There. Beautiful. That's what we're trying to look for.
Okay.
So now let's do the last top two.
Okay, let's try C4. How's that feel?
It's fine.
Okay. Is it getting better?
Let's see. Remove it? Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay.
Wait.
Wait for the voltage.
No, do it. Last time. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
I try to blink so that it auto scales.
Time the blinking and the auto scaling.
Yeah.
And then this last one. Again, I wasn't rough enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a big bubble that just
Hey,
came
that
out.
one had big bubbles in it.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
why.
think-
That's
I
why I was
think-
like sitting there tapping it.
Try removing it. I think it's already better.
Okay.
Okay, now you can like, go.
It's
go
still a little
more.
noisy.
Yeah.
And when we say noisy, again, the fuzzy.
Yeah.
Trying to get rid of that fuzz. This one just happens to not be that world's greatest channel, which is good. We'll write that down, right?
Yeah. Maybe I'll do a little more gel on it. I feel like this. It's
We'll probably pull some too much aside.
Yeah.
It's still pretty fuzzy.
Still fuzzy? Did
Yeah.
it get better at all?
Eh.
Oh, see, yeah, not really. All right, I'm gonna get in there now. Because it's overflowing with gel already.
I think it hurts a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. Okay.
That's why we get feedback. All right, so with that being said, we now know C3
Yeah.
is noisy, so we'll write that down. C3 is noisy, right, in our
Yeah.
notes. We're done now reducing the impedance. So let's do a couple of experiments to see what happens to our EEG during different types of actions, okay? So let's get it nice and vertically auto scale so everything's nice and then I'll want you to look at the screen. I'll
Yeah.
give you a few instructions. Okay. So like we said, channel C3, we might not have good results, and that's because it's just naturally noisy. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is sit, relax, stare straight at the screen. And just a little bit so you're comfortable. Beautiful. Okay. Now what I want you to do is clench your jaws. Do some chewing. So what you should see when you're clenching your jaws, right, especially over C3 and C4, if we auto scale, this one, and this one, and that one. There we are. Okay, now let's clench our jaws. Okay, so you see here, we see these fuzzy pits where it goes fuzzy and not fuzzy again every time she clenches her jaw. What you're seeing is that's actual muscle artifacts because we have muscles that go from our jaw all the way up to the top of our head. And so these tendons actually go up the side of our head here. And so as we clench our jaw, we're going to see them on our electrodes over here on C3 and C4. All right, the next one I want you to try, and sometimes it doesn't work, is to frown your eyebrows like this. And then lift them really high up. And then frown. And then see again how these voltages will deflect. So this is C3 and C4 that we want to look at. So C4, you see how it goes up and down. Again, that's because we're moving the muscles on our scalp. Believe it or not, you can move your entire scalp head. So if you've ever tried wiggling your ears, that's the other way to do it. Do you know how to do that?
Yeah. But with
It's a
all the
talent.
masks-
No, yeah.
with all the masks and the headphones, it's
This might be hard, but if you do, if she's trying, you will see, again, voltage differences going up and down as she wiggles her ears. Okay. The next one, let's try, is eye blinking, and then moving our eyeballs back and forth from side to side as if we're scanning a screen. Okay. And so here, you're going to, again, want to look at your C3, C4, O1, and O2. Every time you blink, and let's get some excessive blinking here. There we go. Every time you blink, you'll see this huge deflection of positive and negative voltage. See, like that? Okay. On channel C4. And so what that is you're actually seeing your eyeballs roll to the back of your head. And so because your eyeballs roll to the back of your head every time you blink, you're actually creating a dipole because your eyeballs create a positive and negative deflection in voltage. Okay. And we're picking that up as your eyeballs roll the back of your head on some of these electrode channels because, again, you're changing the electric field properties associated with those electrodes. Sorry, you're losing your mask?
no mask came off. With, yeah. Okay. I think it's just coming.
Okay. That was blinking. All right, let's wait for our subject to get sorted. And then I'm going to ask you to do what we call eye saccades. You know how to do a saccade?
No.
Okay, so an eye saccade.
Oh, it's those eye movements, right? Quick.
So an eye saccade is when you do eye movements back and forth really quickly. Gamers are really good at this, right? Because they're looking for targets. But if we do that, you will actually see a voltage change on your EEG associated with an eye saccade. Again, it's not your brain. It's your eyeballs changing the electric field potentials associated with the electrodes. Okay.
Okay, so quick.
So basically what I'm measuring here is EOG, electrooculogram.
Okay.
So let's, if you can come look, let's look at this screen. And then try to, when you're done,
Yeah.
getting yourself sorted.
It's
When
like
you're done, try
this is
looking back
coming
and forth.
off.
Can you maybe help her?
Yeah. Or where's
this
it?
is supposed to go inside the.
Her mask ear hole.
Oh,
ear hole,
the chin came off too.
Yeah.
Oh, how did this happen? Sorry if it gets like on your hair, the Velcro part. Oh wait,
that's why
is that supposed to be like that?
Wait.
It was like Velcro to itself. There you go, yeah.
Just got a little tangle there.
Okay.
So-
Let's
Is that
check
better?
the electrodes, are they still good? Except for the C3 that we still want to work on. But we'll
Let's
try
let's
a little
work on the C3 a little more and then.
It's a, yeah, I'm at a point where I'm not satisfied with it.
Okay.
Okay. But in the meantime, you can do the isokites just to show.
So I just have to look quickly.
So you either look quickly or just look on this corner, then look at this corner, and look at this corner. There you go. So what's going on here as she's doing that? You should see, again, these huge voltages going up and down as she looks from one side to the other.
Maybe I should.
So stop and stay still for a little bit.
Okay.
All right, now try it. There you go.
Yeah.
See how they bounce?
Yeah.
And so every time you see one of those, again, that's an isocot. So it's an
Okay.
electrooculogram that we're measuring, not actual EEG. Perfect. Yeah, this is a wonky channel. Let me double check to make sure it's not a cable problem.
Tell me if I'm going too hard, okay?
Okay, now it's a bit hard.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like this gel isn't staying inside too. And then there's so many bubbles.
Sorry, your C4 looks a little wonky too. I think because you readjusted it, so it readjusted these two. Because this one's now a little, I poked it.
Did
Only for a little bit. Sorry, I'm poking you. Yeah, I'll have to fix that one too. I think it's because you readjusted the.
Yeah.
Do you think I can do a quick check on the first person camera?
Yeah.
this one? Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright.
it just looks super tilted now.
Oh, is it? Did it move?
Yeah.
Her hair's moving up over time.
Is it? I should have brought a clip or something.
You taking a selfie?
Yeah, I'm gonna check to see if it looks the same.
Alright. Yeah, I want to do for you next. We'll redo blinking, eyes open, closed with saccades. Like do a saccade, then we'll do eyes open, closed. Then I want to do mu rhythm and motion artifact and experimenter noise. So like stomping. I want to try to do electrical noise, but that one's really hard. I'd have to like turn on the fan and put it next to it.
You guys can start anytime.
Oh, we're good?
Yeah, yeah.
So we're waiting for you to go action.
Oh, sorry. Action.
Action. Okay. Okay, so let's try doing reducing C3's impedance a little more, and then we'll look at some of the motion artifacts.
Thank you.
And it could be that we just have a very noisy channel, and again, we just want to
Do
make
you
sure we
want to
rectify
remove
that.
it and put it back? Like, does that help? I don't know. I don't think so. It looks pretty down there, so it should be fine.
this guy got unplugged somehow. Whoa.
It's okay. I don't know if this is better or
No. Somebody moved some of these cables. You moved the reference cables.
Hmm?
The reference cables got moved somehow.
it's all pretty good now.
A little better.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me just auto scale them.
Okay, so again, I'm just double checking grounds plugged into grounds and then plugged into V minus, and then V minus is V minus for each of these channels, and they're all plugged in. C3, C4, O1, O2 are plugged in.
Very
Low
good.
pass filters on, high pass filters on, 20 hertz.
It's
20
Oh,
hertz.
it looks really good.
It's
Yeah.
just that.
Great.
Okay, cool.
Great.
So we.
So again, lesson learned, right? Always check your amplifier settings.
You,
Double check the really good noise signal now, okay? Make sure you read the protocol, right? So we read the full protocol here, just so you can go, right? So we have the right settings. We have the right hardware setup. Great. All right, so now let's look at some artifacts, because again, the last thing we do is always make sure we have a really good signal quality before actually doing our experiments. Unlike last time where we didn't reduce the impedances, we didn't check the actual hardware, so the hardware is wrong on both of them, right? And we didn't change any of the filters. We didn't do a 1 to 35 hertz filtering. So let's try doing jaw clenching again. So this is when we're clenching our jaws like we're biting our teeth. You should see lots of fuzziness. And so what you're seeing again are those muscles, or mastication muscles, going up the sides of our head, particularly on C3 and C4, which remember are the bottom two channels here. Okay? The next thing, let's raise and lower our eyebrows.
yeah.
And again, you should see them here, and you'll see these huge voltage deflections because we're moving our actual skin, so we're moving all the electrodes too. Okay? Let's do some eye blinks, some excessive blinking. Again, you'll see it rolls through the back of your head, so you'll see huge voltage change on all the signals because your eyeballs are creating a difference in electric field potentials as it moves. Okay, we're going to do an eye saccade, move your eyeballs left and right. And again, you should see a relative voltage change or difference if you go real exaggerated. There you go. You should see a little bit of difference again, but it only will give you a little bit of a voltage difference. The last thing we want to do is eyes open, or not last thing, last few things. Eyes open versus eyes closed. So let's close our eyes and relax. Okay. So now you should see a synchronous rhythm, particularly on channels O1 and O2. You see this nice synchronous rhythm? That's in the 8 to 12 hertz frequency range. And it increases in power, which means it's more noticeable on the raw signals as an actual sinusoid over these channels when you close your eyes, and decreases in power over these channels when you open your eyes. Okay. The alpha rhythm is a wave, so it starts in your visual cortex, but can actually go all the way up towards your motor cortex, or channel C3 and C4 here. Okay, and then remember this last one's the audio. Great. Now, even though we have an alpha rhythm where we see an increase in power when we close our eyes compared to when we open our eyes, around that same frequency range, 8 to 12 hertz, we also have what we call a mu rhythm. Now, mu rhythm can be a bit of a confounding factor, especially over channel C3 and C4. The mu rhythm, which typically originates over your motor cortex, increases in power when you're not moving and decreases in power when you are moving. So if your eyes are open and you're not moving, you are likely going to get an increase in the 8 to 12 hertz frequency range. And that's because of your mu rhythm. And that will most likely be, again, over the motor cortex, not the occipital lobe, or O1 and O2.
Yes.
So if you want, maybe you can point when you see mu rhythm. You'll see these nice little bursts. Okay, you might see one that's a little higher in frequency. That's what we call our beta rhythm. That's 12 to 20 hertz. And that too, again, increases in power when we're not moving and decreases in power when we are moving. And it depends on, again, which body part. So you see any more? just have to wait for you to
Mhm.
relax. Can you auto scale for us? Okay, great. So now relax and just sit still, and we're gonna see if we can see a little bit of mu rhythm. There we go. So you see these little sinusoidal blurbs that start happening? Okay, so remember, we're looking at the motor cortex, these bottom two here, see these? Those sinusoids? That again increases in power, 8 to 12 hertz when we're not moving. Okay, so for C3 is the left side of my brain, which means C3 is over the right hand of my motor cortex. So this is the location for my right hand. And so what you should see, if you start clenching and unclenching your fist like this, nice and slowly, versus not do that, you'll see that decrease in that sinusoid over that channel C3, okay? So remember, left side of the brain, right side of the body. Right side of the brain, left side of the body. So you have to really relax to get the mu first, and then just kind of quietly with your right hand, open and close like this. Okay, just in a nice natural pace for you. Okay. So again, this is C3.
Mhm.
I think, okay, my blinks are fine.
Have her auto scale. You need to not move.
Okay.
Okay. Go to the other side.
So you're gonna auto scale. And again, it's because we want her to not move so we can see the mu rhythm. And then just wait till these blinks and things
Okay.
are away. There we go. So you see this? This is our mu rhythm. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Let's wait for it to come back. Here it comes. Relax. Great. Okay, now start clenching your hand. So now, start clenching your right hand.
Yeah.
There we go. So now you see how it goes away. We don't see that beautiful sinusoid pop in and out. It's completely gone. Again, that's our mu rhythm. So a nice task that you can do when you have your eyes open in order to obtain or reduce at least some of the mu or make the alpha stronger is to do some mental math. So some people like multiplying by 7, whatever's really hard for you. Some people like to try to list off the numbers of pi, right? And again, it's giving you active concentration, so really just analyzing eyes open versus eyes closed, not non-movement versus movement, or, for instance, just lethargy, sleep, which would give us a very low frequency in the 1 to 4 hertz range, right? Okay, so that was that's how you can see mu rhythm. The last thing I want to see is some motion artifacts or experimenter artifacts. Can you do some like swaying or maybe some stomping? Just get real fidgety. Okay, so when you get real fidgety, you'll see again the voltages will go really crazy. And so what you're measuring there is noise. You're measuring motion. Okay, you're not measuring EEG. The last thing we can do is we can be evil experimenters, and this is why as an experimenter, you do not loom over your subject like this, because if I stomp, okay, and then it goes away, and then I stop again. And I don't even have to be that obnoxious. I could be a little bit just regular walking, okay? So that, again, that's noise due to the experimenter. So that's why we want to make sure everyone's away, you're nice and calm, you're zen, right? We're not getting any of those noises when we're actually recording. Okay. Great. So if you guys are comfortable with that, and we did one more alpha check to test. Okay, so close eyes and relax. And again, we see the alpha rhythm over the occipital lobe, most prominent. And a little less prominent, but still there over our motor cortex. Beautiful. Open your eyes. Okay. And then now you see it disappears. We'll still see some mu rhythm, right, over our motor cortex because, again, she's not moving. Great. So if you guys are happy with that, we have all the settings. We double checked. O1, O2, C3, C4. These are on the minus channels.
Mhm.
We have a ground to ground via minus cabled and then them all cabled together. 20,000. Normal on the mode. We don't have to worry about that. On for the low pass and on 1 hertz for the high pass. Great. Now I think we can do the experiment and let's do the appropriate number of trials. This looks really good.
So, according to this protocol, how many trials?
10 trials?
20 seconds?
Yeah, 20 seconds. And 20 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
Right, so. Right, so yeah. Start acknowledge, and now hit any key in MATLAB to continue. Oh yeah, and we're the audio.